Your Nail Down. I'm Jason Gilbo, JGilbo11. It's Friday. Looking at a 14-game slate. We got the Cubs Rockies at 220. Overall, not a terrific pitching slate, but I kind of like it because we got Corey Kluber stands out as the number one guy, and then we just kind of drop off there. But I mean, at least there's some names that you can consider using on tonight's slate. So looking at things and how we're going to attack, I definitely think Kluber is just going to be a staple that I just go all in on. Because even on DraftKings, you can fit in bats still. I mean, there are cheap SP2s to consider. There's a lot going on FanDuel as well, and Kluber's not even that expensive there. So looking at Kluber, absolutely looked fantastic in his first start back. 10 strikeouts over 6 scoreless innings. Going up against a White Sox team that just continues to be targetable. All throughout that Rays series, I mean, we fired away with those arms and got some success. 28th in WOBA, 23.7% strikeout rate, low ISO, low WRC plus, hard contact rates average to below average. So look at Kluber. I mean, everything kind of sets up really well for him. 29% strikeout rate this year, 13.9% swing strike percentage. Is going to put a lot of hard contact, but that's kind of been the theme with guys who are missing a ton of bats. So expect some positive regression as well, 3.45 Sierra. Look at his FIP and XFIP. I mean, both solid in the threes. Been a little bit unlucky on the home runs, 1.545 runs per 9. So expect that ERA over 4 to kind of come down into the threes. And just kind of look for that to continue throughout the start. So Kluber is an easy number one. Cash game guy only for me on FanDuel. Not only if you can play him in cash games, but there is no other cash game guy for me on FanDuel. I'm locking in Kluber and using him. DraftKings as well. There's some cheap SP2s we'll get to. All these SP2s I talk about on DraftKings are GPP playable on FanDuel as well, unless stated otherwise. So, but looking at elsewhere, Brad Peacock. This is a guy who's just been phenomenal. I mean, 13.7% swinging strike rate, 38% strikeout rate over 31 innings so far this year. Not allowing the long ball, decent ground ball rate, 47%. Sierra backs him out, 2.80 FIP, XFIP under 3. Walk rate's the only real blip here. 11% walk rate. That's the only thing. I just think he comes in once again as an SP2. I'll consider using in cash games. Angels offense is just bad. I mean, yeah, they don't strike out a ton, but missing bats like that, it's going to definitely get you somewhere. 26 in WOBA, once again, Trout out. It's just a lineup that I'll attack with guys who do have, huge strikeout success. So Peacock's shown it. This is a guy I'll just kind of lock in and look to do his thing as an SP2 on DraftKings. He's FanDuel playable. Continues to be stretched out. Good shot at a win, according to Vegas, even though Matt Schumacher does have some decent numbers against Houston. So Peacock definitely coming in as an option. It probably will be a little bit chalky, and that's fine. Then we kind of get to some other names here. Jordan Montgomery. If Baltimore trots out a lineup like last night, I definitely could see some success there. He's just a GPP guy because he is missing a lot of bats. I expect the strikeout rate to actually go up. 12.6% swinging strike rate, only a 22% strikeout rate, but that's obviously solid on the slate. Look at him. He is a fly ball pitcher. The weather isn't good for fly ball pitchers in New York right now. It's hot, winds blowing out, so that is a concern. Montgomery just strictly a GPP play, just given how bad Baltimore's been against lefties. Middle of the road, basically everything, but the 25.3% strikeout rate, Montgomery can generate a ton of strikeouts in this matchup. So I definitely don't mind using him, but once again, he's just a GPP guy for me. We get some other names here. Rich Hill, I won't use him. I just can't. I know the price is starting to drop on him. Reds, against left-handed pitching are very solid. Top 5 in ISO, WOBA, and WRC plus. They also don't strike out a ton. I'm sorry, Rich Hill's just not making my cut today. He's a guy I'll fade. I'll if he goes 5 innings and strikes out 8, whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to use him. Other names on the slate, Michael Wacha against the Phillies. It's a warm night. Wacha is probably going to be about this average starter the rest of the way in terms of what his FIP, XFIP, Sierra indicate. Not getting up a ton of hard contact is generating a decent amount of strikeouts, 23.4%. Phillies are kind of run hot and cold at times. They're in a decent stretch now, but still a 23.1% strikeout rate, 25th in WOBA. I don't hate Waka. I just wouldn't be surprised if he goes out there and kind of has a mediocre start tonight, but I don't mind him. I think DK is more playable. I won't play him on FanDuel just because I don't think there's a ton of upside compared to some of these other names. So DK is more playable just because he is super cheap. You can definitely consider him there. In terms of other guys, I mean, Tehran's the guy you can stay away from. Harvey's the guy you can stay away from. Other names that are popular. Irvin Santana, way too expensive on really both sides. For a guy who doesn't have a ton of strikeout upside, I mean, 8.4% swinging strike rate, 18.6% strikeout rate. Sierra's near 5. Even though the Giants are bad, 153 BABIP. I just won't use Santana on this side. I just don't think he has the upside of, a guy who's going to go out and get you 7 to 8 strikeouts. I just don't see it happening. Looking at other guys here, Joe Biagini, this is a guy I really have some interest in. Been really solid, inducing a fair amount of soft contact, 21%, not having a ton of hard. Sierra 3.20, FIP, XFIP reasonably well. Decent strikeout rate, 22%, 9.6% swinging strike rate. I love the ground ball percentage, 61%. He's a really cheap arm that you can consider if he goes out there and gets a quality start. He's stretched out now, has a couple of back-to-back starting starts on FanDuel. I like him as an SP2 on DK. Like I said, you can fit in a ton of bats with him. He's kind of the one guy I'll definitely consider out there on the West Coast. Chacín's back at home where he's done well this year. I don't know if I love him over Biagini, though, so I kind of like Chacín. His ground ball rate is solid, 53%. Doesn't have a ton of strikeout upside, though, but at home he's been fairly solid. He's just kind of a deep GPP play at best, but, Biagini's a guy I'll definitely consider on tonight's slate. So outside of that, I would like to have some interest in Triggs and Alex Cobb, just given the strikeout rates of the Rays against Rays and Athletics against right-handed pitching, given the fact that they both rank inside the top 5, both rate around 25%. They're just guys that allow a ton of hard contact. Fly ball pitcher for Alex Cobb. Like I said, just allowing 38% hard contact rate. Triggs hasn't been as bad with the hard contact, but he's not getting a lot of soft contact either. Ground ball rate's obviously better. I'd probably take a stab more on Triggs than I would on Cobb if you're looking at things, but it's just kind of a notable GPP guy. So wrapping things up, Kluber, your number 1 here, coming in terms of DKSP2, I like Biagini. I like Brad Peacock as kind of the 2 options. GPP guys to consider tonight. Definitely looking at Jordan Montgomery, Triggs I don't hate. I think those are the guys you can really look at and feel pretty good about. So let's wrap things up with me. You can head over to DaveFantasyCafe.com, check out the great tools and content.